Hi everyone, welcome to Raising Futures. If you are new here, welcome. This is a channel where we support educators, parents, caregivers, guardian, anyone who is raising a young person and who wants to raise a young person that is strong emotionally, socially, physically, holistically, basically. So welcome. I'm very excited that you are here today, and I hope that you are going to find this video very helpful. Remember to subscribe, like this video if you like the contents that we are sharing in this channel. So let me ask you, have you ever seen a child who would crumble and fall apart if they make a mistake or if they fail at something, whereas another child just bounces back as if nothing happened? What's the difference? Well, it's resilience. And that's what we're talking about today. Resilience is not a personality, it's not something that they are born with, but it is something that most young people are privileged enough to learn as they grow. And today I'm going to be giving you 5 strategies on how you can teach your child resilience. Stick around. Let's start with the basics. What is resilience? Well, resilience is the ability to cope with stress, ability to bounce back, to be able to adapt to change, and also to be able to deal with challenges, to be able to go through challenges. And the important thing that I want to say about resilience is that it's not pretending to be okay. It's not pretending as if everything is fine, but it is learning to cope through difficulties and being able to find your way through challenges, which is what we want our young people to develop. We want them to have this ability to get to go through life, to go through challenges, and get to the other side feeling stronger and feeling that they have conquered any challenge that they have been facing. It's also important, before I get into the strategies, to just say and emphasize the fact that resilience is something that can be learned. So as you teach your child how to read, as you teach your child how to write, as you teach them how to ride a bike, you can also teach them resilience. And today I'm giving you 5 strategies on how you can start doing that. Strategy 1, normalize failure. Most children feel like if they fail at something, then it means they are not good enough, and when that's why at the beginning I made the example of one child failing at something and being able to bounce back, and the other child failing at something and not being able to bounce back, in fact feeling like it's the end of the world. So when our children are not able to bounce back, sometimes it's because they are starting to believe, or they believe that when they fail, it means they are not good enough. And that's the first strategy, that you want to normalize failure. You want to talk about failure. You want to talk about your own failure as a parent. You want to talk about how you conquered. And I think it's important, when we're talking about normalizing failure, to emphasize to educators, because at school that's what we're always looking at, and sometimes we end up defining young people based on whether they fail or succeed when we're talking about a school setting. So I want to say here, if you're an educator and you are listening, please remember to normalize failure in your classroom. Normalize failure in your classroom. How are you going to do that? You are going to do that by also making referrals to stories or to people who used to fail maths, or who are not good at maths, for example, but they are still successful people, so that young people are able to see that, okay, just because I'm not good at this specific subject, it doesn't mean that it's the end of the world for me. But it could be that I'm good at other things, or it could be that I need to do a bit more. So how, as an educator, are you supporting young people when they fail. Remember, strategy 1, normalize failure. Strategy 2, teach problem solving skills. So, like I said, when we're talking about resilience, we are saying that the child or the person who is resilient is able to bounce back. So when you're bouncing back, it means that there's a problem, right? It means that there's a challenge. It means that there's something that you are dealing with. So the second strategy is for you to teach your child to solve problems. The important thing about teaching your child to solve problems is something that I've been emphasizing in some of my videos. Don't try to solve the problem for them. Don't jump in to fix the problem for them. You want them to learn the skill. So to learn a skill, they need to practice the skill. Some of the ways that you can teach them how to solve problems, or some of the ways that you can teach them to develop this skill. When they have a problem, let's say your child struggles and is always losing a pen, right? So they always, every morning before they go to school, you have an issue because they don't have a pen. So this is a problem. Now, as a parent, instead of coming up with the solution, okay, so I'm going to do this, you want them to be aware of this problem and to find ways to solve this problem. So what you are going to do is ask questions, okay? You guiding them by asking them questions. What is the problem? The second question, what are some things that we can do? Okay, we know what the problem is. What are some things that we can do? The third question, what would happen if we would try all of these things, or if we would try some of these things? So you are trying to get them to think about solutions by asking them specific questions based on what they are struggling with. So every time you use this strategy, every time you teach them how to solve their own problems, you are encouraging them to find ways to solve first the small problems. Once they are able to solve the small problems, they are going to end up being able to solve big problems because it starts small. Okay, so don't take small solutions lightly. Okay, don't take small problems lightly. It's not like, okay, no, this is nothing, I mean, I can just do it for them. Whereas if you are also investing in those smaller problems, in teaching them the social skills, because I mean the problem solving skills, because that's where they're going to practice, you know. So let them practice with something small, and then they would grow into dealing with even bigger challenges or problems. Strategy 3, encourage emotional expression. Here, what I also want to emphasize when we're talking about encouraging emotional expression is the fact that if you are dealing with a specific problem or you're facing a challenge, obviously, whatever you are dealing with is connected to your emotions, right? So it's connected to your emotions. Therefore, it's important for you to be aware of what you are feeling or how you are feeling, so that in your response or in your bouncing back, you are able to deal with the specific emotion or the specific challenge or the specific situation. When we bring shame to children's emotions, we are actually blocking them from paying attention to their emotions, from getting in touch with their emotions. When we don't encourage them to express the emotion, we're basically saying what you are feeling is not important, you know. So if what I'm feeling is not important, then how am I going to get through it? So therefore, I'm saying this strategy is very important because emotions are connected to whatever challenge they are going through or whatever situation they are dealing with. So please, let's encourage emotional expression. Let's also teach our young people how to express their emotions positively or in a responsible manner. And I've spoken about emotional expression a lot in my other videos, so check them out. Strategy 4, building strong relationships. I don't even have to say much here. If you want your child to be resilient, it's important for you to understand that resilience is not just built in isolation. Okay, they need relationships, they need connection, they need that strong relationship with you because you are their support structure. They depend on you. For them to be able to bounce back, they need that support system. You don't need to be perfect. I always say this, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present. They need you to be there with them. They need to know that, okay, when life gets hard, I know that my Mother's Day is there, my Father's Day is there, my grandparents, my siblings, my aunts, that adults that they can depend on. So be present. Build strong relationships, build connections with them. Strategy 5, model resilience yourself. This is how I close, okay? They are going to look at what you are doing. So practice what you preach, walk the talk. When it comes to resilience, like many other things in life, young people are going to be looking at what you are doing. So they want to see how you cope with stress. They want to see what you do when you are frustrated, when life gets hard, because they can see that, okay, you are going through a tough time, or our family is dealing with a difficult situation right now. So your behavior or your reaction is going to be very important, because that's how they're going to learn. They're not only learning from what you teach them, what you tell them, or how you guide them, but they're also learning from looking at you and how you are actually bouncing back. So I would say here, it's important for you to be honest about your feelings. Be honest about your struggles, The more you are able to share with them how your day was, things as simple as just sharing your day. My day was very tough today at work. This and this happened. I really struggled, but I was able to bounce back. I was able to do this and this and this instead of this, and it helped me, So those practical example, those life lessons, that's what's going to also teach them, not just you making up stories to encourage them, but you actually talking about yourself, you actually talking about your own feelings and your own struggles. That's what's going to be important. That's what's going to be impactful and more meaningful for them. That's what we're trying to achieve. That's how we are trying to teach our young people resilience. So as I close, I hope you found this video very helpful. And just to emphasize in closing, these are very practical strategies that you can actually start using today. So I really hope that you're going to pick at least one of the strategies and start practicing this with your young people, whether it's professionally or at home with your children. And please also put in the comment section, let me know which strategy you have started to adopt, and how it's going, or how are you using all of these strategies in building strong, resilient young people. Thank you so much for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Please remember to subscribe and like this video, and leave comments below. Just say hi. I see you, I hear you. Ask questions. I'm looking forward to having conversations with you. Until next time, bye.